In this week's episode of Animal Wonders, we are going to talk about the secret power hidden inside your cat's whiskers. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, doesn't she have like 4 more videos about cats? Yes, but those were all for Halloween. And while it is true that cats are spooky little beasts, they're also wonderful little beings. And because I love cats so much, I'm not gonna let a little thing like 4 other videos about them stop me from making another one. So join me as we discover what special ability these whiskered wonders have that might just save their lives. Okay, first things first, what even are whiskers? Well, whiskers aren't really whiskers. They're actually modified hairs that have receptors for touch and movement in them. Because they're made of keratin, just like our hair and nails, they can grow up to 212 inches or 6.35 centimeters long. And they're found not only on cats' faces, but on their paws, on their necks, and even on their bellies. But we're going to focus on the ones on their faces today, specifically the ones called Vibrissae. You see, Vibrissae are super long, super sensitive hairs that act as sensory organs. Each hair follicle has a tiny nerve ending attached to it that sends signals to the brain about touch and movement. It's similar to how bats use echolocation to navigate the world around them, except instead of sound waves, cats are feeling out their surroundings through vibrations. Cats can feel changes in air currents caused by nearby movement, allowing them to detect predators, prey, and other objects before they're close enough to be seen. But why does it matter if they can feel movement? I mean, we humans can do that. We can see and hear. Why can't they just evolve to rely on those senses? Well, when a cat relies on its sense of sight, it needs to be less than 20 feet or 6 meters away from whatever they're looking at to make out its details. And when they rely on hearing, it needs to be less than 8 feet or 2.4 meters away. But when they use their whiskers, they can pick up on movement from more than 40 feet or 12 meters away. That's the equivalent of spotting a mouse from almost 2 rooms away. So it's an essential sense for cats, especially since they rely on stealth to catch their prey. Now, there's another part of the whisker equation that's worth discussing, the way they move them. You see, while the rest of a cat's fur lies flat against its body, whiskers stand out at a 90-degree angle, which allows them to collect even the tiniest bit of movement in the air. When you see a cat swishing its whiskers back and forth, it's actively trying to collect more information about its environment. Just like we might raise our eyebrows in surprise or lower them in thought, cats are able to communicate a lot with just their whiskers alone, as long as you know what to look for. Forward-facing whiskers can indicate curiosity, while whiskers that are pulled back suggest fear or anxiety. If a cat's whiskers are bristled out, that could show aggression or that they're feeling defensive. And finally, if you see a cat flatten its whiskers against its face, it might be trying to hide or sneak up on something. And yes, they can move them independently from each other. They have fine control over their whiskers, which allows them to do this. In fact, when cats groom themselves, they lick their paws and then use them to wipe away any dirt or debris from their whiskers. They don't want anything interfering with their super sense. This also explains why cats will often paw at their food before eating it. They want to make sure nothing else is in there that shouldn't be, like a poisonous plant or a small child. Now, as useful as their whiskers are, cats can't always count on them. They can get broken or injured, which is why cats with special needs often need extra help navigating the world around them. In fact, during the American Revolution, there was a cat who served as an official mascot of the Continental Marines, and he lost his whiskers in a battle with a dog. His name was General, and he was awarded a lifetime pension of fish and rum after he bravely defended Fort Sullivan in Charleston Harbor. He was a legend. As amazing as they are, sometimes whiskers can lead a cat into trouble. Have you ever tried petting a cat and it suddenly stops enjoying it and swipes at you? Well, it might not be because you're a bad pet, but rather because your hand got too close to its face and you accidentally touched its whiskers. The reason this happens is because when you stroke a cat, it feels your hand moving through the air toward its face via its whiskers, but it doesn't know what it is. So it naturally assumes it's a predator and gets scared. The same thing can happen when you pick a cat up. If you cup your hands around its head and press your fingers against its whiskers, it might think it's being attacked and try to bite or scratch. However, there is a way to avoid this. While it's important not to touch a cat's whiskers, it is okay to touch the skin surrounding them. So if you're trying to pet a cat, try putting your hands on its shoulders or cheeks, and and slowly moving your hand out so it can feel you coming through its whiskers before it gets scared. Once you've built trust, you can slowly begin to move your hand closer to its face. This is also why cats might seem to enjoy being petted in certain spots. Those are areas where their fur lies flat against their bodies and they don't have sensitive whiskers underneath. However, every cat is different, so if you're ever unsure, just ask their owner. All of this brings us to the secret power hidden inside your cat's whiskers. What is it? Well, it's their ability to help them hunt. You see, when a cat stalks its prey, it needs to stay quiet and still. Otherwise, it'll scare away whatever it's hunting. This means that when a cat pounces, it has to do it fast. However, pouncing takes time, and a cat needs to judge the distance between itself and its prey accurately, or it'll miss. But thanks to their whiskers, cats are perfectly equipped for this task. Their whiskers allow them to measure the space between them and their prey, allowing them to plan their attack accordingly. For example, if a cat pounces and its paws land further away from its target than it expected, it will react by kicking its legs forward to try and catch up with its prey. Similarly, if it finds itself too close to its prey, it will leap backwards with its hind legs to create distance and prepare to strike again. Without their whiskers, cats would be left in the dark, literally. They wouldn't be able to hunt effectively, which means they might go hungry. And no one wants a hungry cat. So remember, the next time your cat is sniffing around your ankles, they're not trying to figure out if you're a tasty snack. They're just trying to figure out what's going on in their world. And hey, maybe they're curious about you. Thank you so much for watching. Did you learn anything new? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and come back for more animal videos. See you later. Bye.